along this morning, everybody. I understand that it's a lot to ask to come out of your businesses, off your farms, and step away for a few hours. So I want to help you guys to make the most out of it. I'm not going to stand up here and talk about boring accounting talk. That's not what you guys are interested in. I'm actually going to spend most of my time demoing what you would do every day from a small business perspective. So I want to start off just a show of hands, but I understand that not everyone likes doing this, so I'm happy for a finger in the air or a bit of a nod. Who in here actually uses Xero to run their small business and is involved in Xero day to day? Cool, a few of you, that's a great start. And for those of you that don't, do you understand what cloud software is? Does cloud software sort of, is it a concept that you understand? Or more importantly, is it a concept that frightens you? Don't be scared to say yes. There's always a few in the crowd that are shying away from cloud software. So I want to talk, or spend a couple of minutes talking really around what is cloud software. So for those of you in the room that don't use a cloud solution as your small business software, that potentially like the desktop because it's something that's unknown, think to yourself, do you use internet banking? Do you potentially have a Facebook account? Maybe for the younger generation, it's Twitter, Snapchat, or Instagram. They are all great examples of cloud solution. So really, the fundamental idea of cloud software is that you can log into it anytime, anywhere from any device. There's a couple of great benefits to using cloud solution. It means that if you don't have your information stored on your laptop, on your home desktop computer, you're not subject to things like if that computer crashes or get a virus. It's sort of the victim of some unruly weather patterns, maybe fire or flood, which I hope never happens. But in those instances, when the computer's gone, so is your data. So it can be very costly to small business if they're scrambling trying to bring back a lot of that data into their business or try and replicate that in potentially a new disk. For those of you that have been using small business software for a long time, you probably would have got an update once a year, put a CD in the drive, maybe if you pay employees, update your tax tables if you do your own payroll. Maybe you've got a couple of new features. Does this sound like something that you would have done in the past? Or maybe not even bothered and just let it roll on year on year on year? Another great benefit of the cloud is that at Xero, we update continually that software for you. So every time you log in, you have the most up-to-date solution that we provide at Xero. So Xero is very unique in one way. We only have one small business solution. So, while there are a lot of cloud solutions out there, depending on what type of business you run might depend on what particular product that you would purchase off them. With Xero, you could, if you have got a fluctuating business, maybe you employ a lot of staff, it's very seasonal at certain times of the year, you can just simply add on the ability to pay more staff when you need to and then get rid of payroll altogether, maybe during winter when you have no staff. You don't have to grapple with changing software as your business grows and evolves. You simply let us know and we turn on additional features as and when you need it. Again, it's a subscription-based service. So that means that each month, depending on how your relationship with Xero is, whether you go through GTH or you come to us directly, you simply pay a monthly fee for your Xero subscription depending on what products or features that you need within the product. Excellent. So I talked a bit about security and backup. That concerns a lot of people, so I just want to touch on that for about 30 seconds. Xero stores all of its data at what's called Amazon-based web services. So most of you would have heard of Amazon. It's the big retail giant, apparently going to come out of the US and wipe out retail for all of us here. For us at Xero, though, they're a really important part of our infrastructure. So your data is held on Amazon-based web services. However, it's encrypted both in transit and at resting. So there's not one person that essentially can go and trip over the power cord and all of Xero goes down. They're prison-grade facilities. That means that there's great segregation of duty and not one person has the ability to recreate that data from that point of view. We obviously have to meet Australian security standards, and we deal directly with the largest banks in Australia and globally, so we have to obviously meet their security standards internally as well. So I just wanted to touch on that briefly, just to kind of put everyone's mind at rest. But if you already use internet banking, which I'm sure is the majority of the people in this room, you're already using a form of cloud software, so it's something that's probably already part of your daily life without even realising. So like I said, Xero is a small business accounting solution that's designed to be used anytime, anywhere. But we're the general ledger. We don't claim to be the right point of sale system. We don't claim to be the best application for inventory, to run your e-commerce platform, to have a pick and pack, to do your timesheets, or if you've got a really complex payroll division. What we've done at Xero is created a platform, an open platform. So you'll see that there's some of the other apps here today, Spotlight, Deputy, Neato, Figured, that will be able to talk to you about what they specialise in. We don't want to be, I guess, the master of all tools. We want to stick to what we know best, and that's accounting solutions, and we let them do what they're best at. So if your business requires a point of sale system, whether it's retail, hospitality, etc., come and have a chat to Elliot throughout the day, and he'll be able to talk to you through some of those applications over at and he's looking bewildered now, at the app stand, or the other app providers here. So all of the app providers here today are certified Xero add-on partners, which is really great. We always encourage more app partners to get involved in our ecosystem because we want to allow you guys to build the tech stack that is relevant to your small business, not what we dictate you should need. Cool. So the start of Xero. The main point of Xero is direct bank feeds. It's the idea of having this live data anytime, anywhere. And that fundamentally comes from allowing banks to run their bank feeds directly into Xero. So we have, out of the cloud-based platform, the largest coverage of the big four banks. We have well over 100 banks that we have direct feeds coming into. So this grows all of the time. One of the biggest, I guess, mistakes that people make when it comes to bank feeds is thinking, I bank with CBA and I can see that Xero's got a CBA direct feed. If you think about all of the banking products within each bank, some we have direct feeds for, some we have third-party feeds for, and some we're still getting there. But we grew them 25% in the last year, so it's not something, if we don't have it today, we won't have it in the future. So this is what Xero is. So for those of you that know Xero or use Xero already, you'd be used to coming into Xero and seeing your dashboard from the beginning. So when I log in the morning, I can see all of my bank accounts sitting here. I can see exactly what the balance was at a particular point in time, and I can see if I've got a little bit of work to do as a small business owner by reconciling some of my transactions. This dashboard is designed to give you that, I guess, slap in the face of things that you need to be highlighted. We don't dictate what's important to you and what's not. So very easily, Xero's pretty intuitive. You can come through and you can say, look, I want to always know what outstanding invoices I have, so quickly manipulate that dashboard so that you're seeing what is relevant to you as soon as you log in. So if I save those changes, it means that sitting at the top of my screen, I've got invoices. I can see what clients still owe me money and potentially spend the time chasing that up. As I said, I can see my bank, I can see exactly where it is. So if I jump into reconcile 26 items, at Xero we know that the most common time that our small business clients reconcile their bank account is 7:15 in the morning. So instead of rolling over and saying good morning to your loved one, you're picking up your phone and reconciling your bank from your small business. Some of the strange things we do in life, but when you run a small business, I can understand that time is not always available. So this is our bank reconciliation screen, and this is really the fundamental part of Xero. When it was developed using a theory called gamification. So we know, for those of you that have been reconciling bank accounts for years, it is probably not the most exciting thing that you do in your day, right? You want to get it over and done with as quickly as possible and move on with life. So we've modelled the bank reconciliation off the childhood game Snap. And the idea being, if I have one card and it matches, I clap and put them to the side. Does everyone know the childhood game Snap, right? So it's modelled off that. On the left-hand side here, yep, it's your left-hand side too, great. On the left-hand side here, that is my bank transactions. So that is what you would see when you normally log into your online banking, the transactions being fed in from your bank. On the right is all of the information that I've already put into the system. So it's invoices I've created for my clients, it's purchases that I've made for my inventory, ongoing incidental expenses, my payroll, all of those aspects of my day-to-day running of my business. So when I come in, what we do at Xero is we use technology to try and help mitigate some of that manual process. So already I can see that the bank has a transaction that is $6,000 we've received from Ridgeway University. I already had that invoice set up in my system, so Xero highlights it green. You pretty much click OK and off it goes. So you can see that real base idea of that gamification happening, that Snap where we're matching those records and they disappear. So we can go through. A couple of other really great features though is that we're running small businesses. We're not all accountants, we're not all bookkeepers. We're not expected to know the ins and outs of how to code up our transactions. So I might want to create a note. I've come through and I'm doing the reconciliation for my small business, but I've got a bookkeeper or accountant that does some review for me, and I want to ask them a question. This is where this Discuss tab is amazing. So I can come in and I can say, look, this is a really old invoice. I don't know what you want me to do with it. Can you please look at this transaction for me? So when the accountant logs in, they then also have the ability to see this information. And this is really the shining light on having a single ledger. Gone are the days where you had to wait until you wanted your BAS done or the end of year or the bank screaming out for your financials, and you had to send off maybe a USB backup of your desktop solution and a whole wad of papers off to your accountant, wait a few weeks, and then because I'm an accountant, I know you all do this, you say, oh no, I've made some changes, here's my second backup, can you please make adjustments of this? But none of you do that. So the idea of this single ledger is it's live. You can have that ongoing continual conversation with your advisors. So another really great feature inside Xero is we use machine learning. We know that we want to start to make this as simple as possible. So we can see I've got a transaction here for Cooper Street Bakery. So I'm just going to type in Cooper Street. I don't have them saved in my system, so I'm just going to quickly add them from the screen. I don't have to go and create a contact, in a contact section. What is it? So this was morning tea. So I'm actually just going to, bad accountant, I know, coding this general expenses. And then I'm going to edit a description. So it was staff, morning tea. Excellent. I'm going to save this. I'm going to refresh my screen. And now I'm just going to scroll down and see, I had another staff morning tea a week later, and Xero has memorised that transaction. So it's starting to make things a lot quicker. That memorisation means that over time, your time you are spending doing your bank reconciliation is getting faster and faster. Thumbs up? Does this sound like it would make your life a little bit easier to what you're used to doing? Cool. So that's memorisation. We have the ability to create rules. We can have them in here. So I have made a purchase at 7-Eleven. I've got a rule in the system already for 7-Eleven. I can apply that. Oh, I don't want to go into it. Sorry. I can apply that rule and then click OK. So that will mean that predetermined conditions that I've set up for recurring transactions, I don't have to spend the time going through and coding those up. So it's going to take you less and less time to do those mundane tasks. Cool. So that's bank reconciliation. Not that exciting, but a little bit more exciting when you're doing it in Xero, and you can do it as fast as possible. So the next thing is, we all like to get paid from some of our customers, right? Doing invoicing is such a drudgery, and I can't tell you, and I'm sure again none of the small businesses in the room qualify for this, but I can't tell you how many times I've had a tradie come to my house, do some work, and then I'm chasing them for an invoice 3 months later, right? I'm trying to give the small business money. They've got bills to pay, and I'm sure they've got a family to feed. It's because when you run a small business, I understand that when you get home, you don't want to sit down and spend 3 hours every night doing your invoicing and your purchases. I get that. So we've got stats internally that suggest that our small business clients that don't have a bookkeeper or an accountant spend around 11 hours per week just doing compliance tasks. So at Xero, we're trying to make all of those tasks more and more efficient to allow you to get more of your time back in your day. So inside Xero, using this little plus symbol, I can create an invoice in a couple of moments. I just want to show you a couple of really great features here. So I'm going to use a great example, and everyone from Xero is going to cringe about this, but anyway, don't look. So I've gone to Bunnings and I've purchased some material. I'm going to start typing in Bunnings, and I'm going to type in, what's the postcode here? 4152? 50? 4350? Is that right? Look at this, Bunnings Warehouse. So I have not got them saved in the system, but we connect with the ABR lookup, and I can create them as a new contact just by that. So I use their name and their location. It will go off the ABN if you have your client's ABN. It goes off the address, the state. Obviously for big enterprise businesses or franchises like Bunnings or maybe Priceline, those businesses that are in a lot of locations, you need to be quite specific, and you need to check that it is the right one. But this will then look for the government ABR lookup, and it will pre-populate their data into your Xero file, so you don't have to go and enter them as a new contact. So today I'm creating this invoice. The due date for these guys, which they won't pay any attention to anyway, they'll have their own rules, but I want it to be in 30 days. So I don't need to go looking for what the date is in 30 days. I can just say plus 30 days or plus 7 days or whatever it is that I would like it to be. Now if I just jump in, I can save information. Now this is obviously a demo, it's all dummy information. They're obviously not going to buy golf balls off me, but it's great for a bit of a demo. So I've got some inventory line items saved in there, so it's taking out that need to enter this data all of the time. If I have something that's new, so they might buy, say, everyone's going to golf, stick, club. They're clubs, aren't they? I mean, they're going to buy one. And then I might say, oh, I haven't got them saved yet, but I know that it's, say, cost me $20 and I want to have a markup of another, say, 50 as an example. I can then use calculations inside those cells. So I don't need to have my calculator as well. Excellent. Happy with that. I'm going to approve this invoice. Oh, or I'm not. Approve this invoice. Do live demos, you've just got to pray to those demo gods that everything just runs smoothly, and never does, so that's okay. Excellent. So the final thing I just want to show you, and I'm trying to pick things that I think are really relevant to us as small business, people running small business, is that I want to email out this invoice from inside Xero. So I'm actually just going to send it to myself, because I want to show you a fantastic feature that will save you a lot of time. Now, I've got some small business clients that use Xero down on the Gold Coast. They're tradies. When they go and start a job, they take a photo of the before. When they complete it, they take a photo of the after. So what they can then do is they can upload those photos into their Xero file, attach it to their invoice when they send it out to their client, and that then means that when the client gets the invoice, they can also see exactly that the work's been accomplished. So there's some really great functionality inside of that we can see. Now I'm just opening that up so that when I jump into my sales, so I've sent my invoice off to my small business client, but I want to have a look at who has not paid me, so I'm going into waiting to be paid. You can see that I've got a lot of invoices that have been sent out, and that's probably quite small for some of you at the back, but this recent one that I've sent off to Bunnings, I now have marked as viewed because I sent it to myself and opened it on my phone, refreshed, and you can see that is going to be fantastic for those clients that say, I didn't get your invoice. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't received it yet. You can actually kind of do a bit of online stalking, which is great. So that's a couple of things that are designed to help you guys run your business more efficiently and smoothly. And I'm just trying to show you a few of the things that we've embedded inside Xero that means you don't have to go and use outside applications along with it. I think I'm nearly out of time at that point. So I'm going to leave it there. There's heaps of Xero staff here today. Obviously, we're all wearing a Xero t-shirt, but the team at GTH are Xero experts as well. So if you can't find a GTH team member, which there are heaps here, we're more than happy to answer questions and queries or more specific software-related questions over at the stand. Have a really great day, and yeah, I'm sure you'll enjoy listening to everybody else. Thank you for your time.